to the Group A, and I am Shung Chit, and my group mate Leung Shun Him are going to present for the following content. Here is our content page, which is separated into 3 chapters, and we will introduce it one by one. Our research topic is the effect of music on athlete performance. We are aimed to investigate whether there are any advantage or disadvantage of different type of music on various sports. Before we get into the research, we will first introduce the background of music in affecting athlete performance. After going through a few research, we discover that the effect of music in athlete performance can be divided into 2 aspects, and they are physiological and psychological. For the psychological, music can not only affect the perceived expression of performance, but also create hormones and increasing excitement levels. It's seen that music can help athletes a lot in the sport performance, but a solid conclusion can't draw at this moment. For the physiological, heart rate, blood pressure, and the body temperature will be significantly affected by music. Besides, we found that the Hong Kong Sport Institute investigating the benefit of music in enhancing athlete performance and invited a professor to have a talk which is about the music innovation in overseas and some example with Olympics athlete. Next, here are the 2 research questions we are studying on, and they are: what is the difference between different type of music on enhancing athlete performance, and which type of sport can be most benefited by music? Then we draw 2 hypotheses for this topic, and they are: there is no difference in benefit of athlete performance when comparing fast music and slow music, and no specific type of sport is found to be most benefited by music. There I am passing to my group mate for chapter 2 and 3.
In the chapter 2, which is the review of literature, we find 2 literature and research that is related to our topic, which is how the music affecting on the athletic performance. And you can see over here, there are 2 research that is studying the effect of fast music and the slow music, which is investigating the difference between 2 totally different type of music. And this study and research and the results of this research can definitely help us with studying and prove that the first research question and the hypothesis. And also over here, you can see that the fast music can increase the excitement of the athletes when they are in the training or in the competition, and also it can provide a greater ergogenic benefits while slow music can't. And the ergogenic benefits is benefits that help the athletes to reach the level and reach the intensity and reach the intention to the training and let them to have a better performance in the training or in the competition. And these conclusions has proved that our hypothesis is incorrect. But we still have to do more study in the futures so as to induce a more solid conclusion for the comparison between fast music and slow music. And over here, we have found that another literature to elaborate on the benefits of music in different sports. And over here, you can see which is talking about the effect of music in various sports. And we find it seems that there are more benefits when listening to music in training. As you can see here, for example, over here, like netball, in netball, music is found to be aid for controlling emotions and conditions. Besides, in tennis, music is found to be helping for improving their mood, let them to have a good mood in the training instead of feeling so dull, feeling so sad in the training, which is not benefits to their training. And also, in the tennis, we found that music can help for the athlete to increase their arousal level and enhancing the visual and imagery. This can definitely help the athlete to enhance the performance. And there are also another example as you can see in here. Therefore, this all conclusion has proved that our hypothesis is correct, and this all literature is supporting our hypothesis, but we still can't draw a solid conclusion. Why? Because we still have to conduct more and more study, more research, more questionnaires, more tests, so that we can draw a solid conclusion. And over here, we start to doing a research in Hong Kong, and we have invited 900 volunteer interviewees who are from different universities in Hong Kong, like Hong Kong University, Chinese University, Technology University, different kind of university. And they are all excels in different type of sports like basketball, soccer, etc. And we have provided a questionnaire to investigate the situation of them, which is like how they feel towards the effect of music, what sports they are involved, and we have designed 4 questions, as you can see here, and we have separated into 2 main categories, and they are backgrounds and they are main questions. For the background questions, we have asked them, what sports do you excel in? We didn't provide any choices for them because there are too many sports that they can involve in. And then for the second question, what type of music do you listen to when you are in training? In the question, we have provided four types of music, which is rhythm and blues, R&B, hip hop, rock, and others. As we saw in some research, and we know that rhythm and blues belongs to some slow music because its beats per minute is rather low. It's around 60 to 80. And hip hop and rock is with a higher beats per minute, which is around 80 to 120. So we have provided this choice for them to categorize they whether listening to fast music or listening to slow music. Then, for the main question, we have asked them, how do you feel when you are listening to music in a training? Also, we didn't provide any standard choice, standard feeling, expression like sad, happy, doubt, boring, excited. We didn't provide this kind of expression. We let the interviewees to express in their own way. They can say, I feel so peace when I am listening to music in a train. I feel so excited. They can use their own way to present to us, and we will help them to categorize these phrases. And the final questions. To what extent do you think music is beneficial on your training? For this question, we have provided four different extensions. To a large extent agree, to a small extent agree, to a small extent disagree, and to a large extent disagree. And in the further study, in the further paragraph, we will have more elaborate on these four questions. And let's have a look. Over here, you can see the two questions for the background, and we have conducted some research from them, and we have to conclude and sort the result. And we found that for the first question, what sports do you excel in? We have found that they are all excelled in five main sports. First is basketball, then soccer, volleyball, tennis, and field. And we found that the most in the field are from the field categories. And that is the basketball and soccer. And the minority is volleyball and tennis. Over this question, we can know that what sports they are involved in. Then we ask them, what type of music do you listen to when you are in the training? And we have found it that the majority of the music type is hip hop and rock, which is where there are fast music, and then is the rhythm and blues, which have around 200 numbers of interviews. As I mentioned before, hip hop and rock is a fast music, and rhythm and blues is slow music. If you remember that, we have mentioned that in the before slides, in the previous slides, we are we have find it a literature that is talking about fast music, talk about slow music, investigating the difference between these two music, so that this all result can definitely help us to conclude, help us to draw a more solid conclusion. And then for the main question, how do you feel when you are listening to music in a training? For this question, we didn't provide any standard choice as I mentioned before, since we don't want to restrict the answer of their expressions. So, but however, 5 expressions stand out for the question fit, and they are happy, excited, peace, doubt, and sad. And we found that the majority of the feeling of the athletes is excited, when the minority is doubt. The purpose of this question is focusing on psychological aspect of the athletes when listening to music in training. Since, as we mentioned it in the beginning, music can affect athletes in psychological aspect and physiological aspect. However, as we read through various studies, the psychological effect seems to be stood out when we are talking about listening to music in training. For the last question, to what extent do you think music is beneficial on your training? We have provided 4 extensions as we mentioned before, and we found that the majority of the athletes chose to a large extent agree, which means that the most athletes in our study is agree that music can benefit on their training performance. After collecting all those data from the questionnaires, from those 4 questionnaires, we can conduct a table to analyze the variance. As you can see here, the dependent variables is the feeling of listening to music in the training. The independent variables are type of music and type of sports. Therefore, a 5-way analysis of variance is drawn as shown below. For example, we will know how the basketball players feel when they are listening to rhythm and blues music, or how the soccer players feel when they are listening to hip hop music, or how the tennis player feel when they are listening to the rock music. So we can know various results from the questionnaires and conducted a very comprehensive, very detailed, very statistic table over here. And this is all of our presentation, as this is our reference. We have studied a different literature study to conduct our questionnaires, to conduct our thoughts. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.